Alright guys, calling all EDH players to the tables. All EDH players to the tables, because 2020 is about to begin and there is a lot of Commander to be had in 2020. Is everybody excited? I know I am. You're looking at Breya here, and Breya is probably arguably a top tier general. She's very powerful, and if you haven't played against this deck and you would like to get frustrated, check it out. She's pretty nasty, but by all means go out and play her. So 2020, it's a big year for Commander. I wanted to come on and talk about my thoughts on the upcoming year, and there's a lot of stuff coming at us. Now I do want to quickly point out that if you don't follow the command zone and you're an EDH player or Commander player, I think it's time you tune into this channel. They're probably the biggest players and the biggest fish within the pool for Commander. They made some big announcements here, and if you haven't, I'll put a link in the video. If you haven't seen this video, you should watch it because it goes into detail on what's being released in the upcoming year. So the command zone, they do a fantastic job. Kudos to them. Anybody that's got negative things to say, you're either jealous or just an angry soul. You know, it's great that we have people out there doing something that they love and earning some means to, you know, support themselves by doing that. Any one of us would love to be able to do that, and they get to do that, and kudos for them, and I applaud them for doing that. And you should follow them because they're in tune, and they know what's going on, and they have influence in Commander product. And I think they probably had some influence in what's going to be released in 2020. So that's just my opinion. That's not fact, so don't quote that. I would source them, but you know, my point is go and watch them. They're great. They're fantastic. But 2020 is a big year. And look, I love Commander products. In 2011, I believe, I could be wrong, the first Commander product was released. Now I had started playing just before that. I've been out of Magic for a while, and I came back to one of my local brick and mortars, and the shopkeep convinced me to try this format, and I haven't come off of it. It's my favorite format, and I just want to go over why it's so good and why I like it so much. I like Commander because it allows me to use the entire library of Magic and just have fun. Whether I'm feeling tribal or multicolored or whatever floats my boat on any particular day, I can go and brew a Commander deck, and I have the entire library. Yes, there is a small ban list, and there should be always. And kudos to the team that works on that ban list. You know, you guys get a lot of slack, but you know, thumbs up. You do a fantastic job. I may not always agree, but that's okay. It's okay to disagree at times. I think that's kind of where we get confused in society today, but that's another discussion. Anyway, Commander, it's great because it allows you to get together, have fun with a group of people who share the same interest, and to be able to go to the library that is Magic, thousands and thousands of cards, and to be able to, you know, come up with creative ways to interact and get synergies and play this game. That's why I love this format so much. And we're getting a lot of it in 2020. There's going to be a lot of product coming our way, and I'm okay with that. We've had, over the years, lots of products. And we started off getting 5 sets, and it flowed into 4. This last set was only 4 decks, and I personally don't. I bought every set except for this last set. I don't have an arsenal either, and that's just price points are a bit ridiculous. These sets now, I think the Black Red set is selling in Canada, retailing for like $75 or more just for that one deck. Things are starting to get a little ridiculously priced, in my opinion. But anyways, we've been getting sets, and that's what we're used to. Other than the Commander Arsenal and most recently Brawl, we've been used to once a year getting a set of decks, which is fantastic. But next year, starting in April, and there's Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Those are financial terms for companies. They speak to certain quarters of the year. Look it up if you're interested in specifically what it means. But April's Q2, I believe. So in Q2, we're going to get our first Commander product. It's like what we're always used to. We're going to get 5 decks with 71 unique cards, and it's coming to us at the end of April, and that's the first thing that we're going to get as Commander players and what we're used to, and that's great. You know, this what we're, again, we know this this style of product. We like it, and thank you for giving it to us. And we get to get it early in the year this year, or next year, I should say, in 2020. And I'll just show you the map of what WotC is planning to bring to us. So they're going to start in Q2 here with this product. Again, it's akin to what we're used to already. Once a year, getting 4 or 5 decks that are new to play our format. But then in Q3, we're going to get some more decks, and then a collection that's focused around green, and then a whole set on its own in the last quarter of next year. So let's talk about this. So we know what to expect out of products like these 5 new decks that are coming in Ikoria. So we know the game there. Most of us like it. Some of us don't, which is fine. But yeah, we know what to expect there. And then we're going to have Zendikar Rising, is a set in the regular standard block that'll come out. And at the same time, we're going to get 2 Commander decks that are thematically linked to Zendikar Rising. You'll be able to play in the pre-release the way they're imagining it. WotC is, that is. You'll get 2 new decks. You'll have, I think, 3 new cards, specific and some functional reprints. They're smaller decks, not the same size as these Ikoria decks. So that's kind of interesting. I'm a little skeptical. I will reserve my judgment for once the year is done and to see how all the products play out. The idea here is you can play in the pre-release. So if you don't want to play the standard draft format, you can go in, you buy your Commander decks and go play Commander for pre-release. You get your hands on the product, I guess, earlier, which is fine. It's interesting. Again, this is all new, and so I'm going to reserve my final judgment for after I've gone through the experience and I have a little more information so that I can comment on. But overall, I'm going to say if I'm going to give WotC a score out of 5 on this initiative, I'm going to give him 4.5. Right? Can't give him a perfect score, but they're really thinking about Commander. They recognize it as a legitimate format that many of us enjoy, and they're giving us products that are specifically geared to Commander players, which is fine. And I think that's a great way to go. Let's see how it plays out. As long as they're open to accepting data and information from the community and integrating good, reasonable feedback into their product and feeding it back to the community, I think we'll do just fine. Then in the second part of Q3, we're going to get this Commander Collection Green that focuses solely on green cards. Now, I'll talk about my beef with this, my con on this whole process in the wrap up. But if I'm going to say something, my focus would be around this product. I'm most interested in the Commander collection, simply because my funds are limited. I cannot purchase every single thing that they're going to release in 2020. I would love to, but I can't. So if I'm going to target something, I'm looking at this Commander collection green. I wrote some notes down, so let me just get to them. Yeah, so there are going to be 8 reprints. This is going to be available in foil and non-foil, with new art. There'll be themes in the decks. This is great, but I believe they liken this product to their spellbook products, and that's a good starting point. I would think, because the spellbook's focused on colors as well. But if you were to ask me, and I were to give you feedback on this and how I would like to see this happen, what I would say is these Commander collections are a great place to provide something back to the community that's needed. So you're going to have reprints in green. I would liken this to a product, if I were going to compare it to anything, from the Vault series. That's what I think this should be. So if I were in charge and I were planning this, I would say, look, we're going to once a year, we're going to focus on a color, and this can take you 8 years down. You do 5 colors, you do multicolor set, you can do a artifact set, and what we're going to do is we're going to give commanders regular and foil product. I would make it like from the Vault product. I would make it, you know, either foil or non-foil. I would do 20 cards. I would make 5 of them commander creature reprints. And we would do 5 lands and then 10 spells. And I would give reprints here, like Bloom Tender is a good example. Bloom Tender is a card that's a great green card. It goes in any multicolored deck that has green in it, but that card is a bit pricey right now. So this is a great opportunity to not only reprint it and offer it to the market, to players to be able to get. You can make it in foil, and this is a place to reprint key cards within the color that are needed, like maybe an Azusa, maybe Oracle of Moldiah would be fantastic in this set. So those types of cards that are very common in all green decks. The Commander collection should be a place for WotC to put product that needs to be reprinted, that the community is clamoring for or wants. You know, I know WotC can't cater to the community in its entirety with all of the requests, but some of it should be given back to the community. You know, so there should be some method of getting information back and getting the data so that they can make the decisions on which cards to reprint. So that Commander collection green is something that I'm definitely looking forward to. And then we're going to move into the last quarter. Whoops. Oh, there's some art. It's not a oops, I guess. Let's talk about this. So they kind of preview two pieces of art. One here, this is Yi-San. This is a spell. He looks to be calling on creatures, so maybe an overrun, maybe a tutor for creatures or something. So this is a spell, so I'm excited to see what this is going to be. But I'm more excited. Whoa, I went too far in the art there. My bad. So this is a creature. This is based off of or related to Azusa. I'm excited about this because A, I love playing green, and B, I love seeing new legendary creatures because it gets my creative juices moving, and I get to see, oh, that's cool. Is that a neat way? Can I do anything with that? Can I make that into a deck that's functional and competitive? So that's what I enjoy about Commander. So I'm excited to see what this card brings. And then in Q4 we get the Commander Legends. So we get 70 new, I wouldn't say new, but we get 70 legends in this set. I'm assuming some will be reprints. They can't make them all new. Maybe they can, maybe they will, I don't know. My guess is that they won't all be new. but you need a bunch, because this set they're thinking about being able to draft, or you will be able to draft this set. So every pack has 20 cards, and I'm assuming it'll be like Dominaria, where you'll be guaranteed a legendary card in each pack. So we'll see about that. I'll reserve judgment. I'm not so confident that drafting Commander and changing the way you play Commander is the best thing for the format. But I do prescribe to the theory that if it's something new, give it a shot, see how it works out, then criticize and change. Let's see how it is. But at the end of the day, we're going to get 70 legendary cards in this set. So that's got me excited. And we'll get some of these smaller packs as well with this. I don't know if I think I mentioned it, but these packs are thematically linked to the standard set, and I'm assuming these 2 packs will be linked to this Commander Legends set. So, and again, this is a good place to do functional reprints. Now, when we talk about reprints, there's a thing called the reserve list, and that's something for another day and another discussion. But I do feel that Wizards should change their reprint policy. I think it's time to look at the reserve list and potentially reprint some of those cards, whether it be in this type of set, whether it be lottery cards in this type of set. But it's time. I feel that the market wouldn't be hurt by reprints, especially of the lands. The mana base is so essential in Commander, and there's nothing better than the dual lands. You can't beat that. There has to be a way to give Commander players the ability to have access to those dual lands that is not going to break the bank. You know, or you don't have to trade away your entire collection just to get a few dual lands for your Commander deck, and then realize you don't like it and then have to change. So I think there's room. So there's a discussion to be had there. This is not the place. Maybe another time we'll talk about that. But as far as everything's concerned, I'm pretty stoked and excited. You know, there's some new art. We got Berenson Gears coming back. And by the way, this art is fantastic. You know, a little golf clap to the artist. A fantastic job. It's a new Planeswalker. Now, hopefully they bring back Planeswalkers as generals. I know there's been this big discussion in the community of whether or not that should happen, and some play groups at home do that. I'm not going to be talking about that. There's plenty of videos if you want to check them out online about that debate. So certainly that's something we can talk about. But hopefully they'll release a few Planeswalkers that you can use as your generals. So I think there's a few of them they mentioned. And that's it. Now, my thoughts on next year, on 2020. I'm excited. I can't wait to get through the year and then kind of take it all in and see where we go with this. I believe WotC's using this as a roadmap potentially. They're not set in stone that this is how they're going to move forward with Commander product. 2020 is a year of experimentation, I believe, for them to see how this plays out. You know, what sells well, what the response to the product is. So they're going to judge, just like we're going to judge how 2020 goes. But my final thoughts on it is that, and I live in Canada, so I'm going to use Canadian market values. If you're living in Canada, you're going to need about $1,000 to be a part of everything that they're going to offer in 2020. That's about $750 US if you're living in the US. So, you know, if you're spending, let's say, $50, $40 to $50 for each one of these, 30 for each one of these, maybe 30 for those two as well. This is like a $120 product. this is a $200 product. So if you were to buy a box and this and all of it, about $700, and then another $300 for what I call miscellaneous expenses, buying the cards that you don't get in here, or trading for cards, or buying cards that haven't been printed but you need. Like, let's say they don't reprint Bloom Tinder and you need it, so you need to go spend $60 to pick it up. You know, you should have that loose change, or that $300 to buy your excess product. Maybe it's card sleeves and cases, but you should have room to buy miscellaneous things here and there, and loose cards. So it's about $1,000. I certainly don't have $1,000 for next year. You know, I'm on a tight budget. I got a mortgage and kids and sports and bills and taxes and the rest of that jazz. And you know what? It's not easy for me. So my budget's like $300. So I have to be very targeted with my my direction. So that's why I'm looking at this product. Hopefully this product is something that's good and will pay off in terms of, hey, this is stuff that I want and need. So my final thoughts is, it's great. I'm so excited to be getting all of this new product and to start brewing new decks with new commanders. But I'm anxious, and I get upset at the fact that I can't afford to buy into each one of these new products. I would love to own it all. So there's that. So hopefully, you know, it works out well. Hopefully there's some things that I don't really need or want, and there'll be other things I do, and I'll be able to get them, and that by the end of 2020 we'll be nice and full with all the Commander product that we have, and we'll get ready for the year after. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully you share some of the same thoughts, and if you don't, let me know. Let's have some discussions. Let me know what you want me to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and we'll talk to you soon. Ciao.